very, very special guest, somebody who is extremely involved, deeply entrenched in policy making as far as New Delhi is concerned. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Piyush Goyal right here on ET Now. Thank you very, very much for being with us. Congratulations coming your way from market participants and Indian markets as well. Up very, very sharply for the Sensex, now up 410 points. The Nifty making very great moves as well, Mr. Goyal. So congratulations on that note. But it's my duty to be a skeptic because I'm a journalist, and so I'm going to ask you the budget mathematics, the growth numbers, and they don't seem to convince our panel here. 11.75% nominal GDP growth is what you're looking at for next fiscal. Isn't that too high, too ambitious a number?
First of all, Supriya, I think the entire compliments and congratulations should go to Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable Finance Minister, who have really brought out a budget that satisfies that anxiety and the excitement that this budget had generated. Huge benefits of demonetization passed on to the people of India. Almost every taxpayer encouraged to be more honest in his tax paying and declaration of income. The small and medium industry getting an unprecedented boost, job creation becoming a focus with affordable housing taking center stage. I think truly
Piyush, we can hear you.
Something the Honorable Prime Minister and Finance Minister have given. Can you hear me now?
We can. Carry on.
Supriya, so truly I think the Honorable Prime Minister and Finance Minister deserve accolades for having brought out a budget without any taxation, new taxation, being able to satisfy large numbers of people in the country, particularly from the agricultural sector, the people, the poorer people, the marginalized sections. As regards the budget numbers, I don't see anything that you should be concerned about. In fact, Finance Minister Mr. Jaitley must be the first FM who for both the last two budgets has spent more than he budgeted while keeping fiscal consolidation intact. So if you see the revised estimates of the last budget and this budget, in both budgets, the spending on capex, the spending on different social security schemes have all been on the higher side compared to the budget, thanks to buoyancy on tax revenues, thanks to the fact that we have encouraged people to be more honest in their compliance of tax laws. And I see no reason to be skeptical about next year. I can reassure the people of India through you, next year we will spend more than budgeted and the country is in very, very safe hands.
Mr. Goyal, we want to talk about some of the specific budget proposals. The one that the market seems to have liked a lot is a proposal to create an oil behemoth. You understand the energy sector very well. What's the rationale here and how is it going to play out? Is it a simple merger of some of the big oil listed companies to create an oil behemoth? What's the rationale and how is it going to play out? By when will we get more clarity on this potentially game-changing move?
Well, I would not know the full details of this particular announcement. We will have to wait till the details are given out by the Honorable Finance Minister. But I think the recognition that duplication of work could be avoided and we can use the sheer strength of large numbers in our favor is something that the Honorable Finance Minister has taken into consideration. The fact that we are a large energy consuming nation and the fact that with economies of scale, country can gain a lot of benefit will what this oil behemoth be all about.
Right. Mr. Goyal, I also have a question on corporate tax. Your government had promised to bring down corporate tax to 25%. I know you've done that for nearly 96% of the corporate entities that filed returns, and the big business is really left out of this. The question that some of our panel did ask early before you joined in was, you've got 2 years more in office in this stint. Are we going to see a movement down to 25% even for the larger entities?
Well, that particular point, I think only the Honorable Prime Minister can answer. But you must recognize the sincerity of this government towards the small and medium sector, particularly the corporate sector paying with the turnover of up to 50 crores, being brought at par in some sense with the benefits that the larger corporates enjoy. As the Honorable Finance Minister said, the effective rate of taxation of the larger corporates was about 25%. Now with this move, the 30% that the smaller companies were paying because they were not in a position to enjoy all these various exemptions on growth, on new investment, I think they will also come down to 25%. It will be a big boost to partnership companies, proprietorships to move towards the corporate sector. And with that, there will be more accountability and transparency in their operations, in their account. People can be held responsible for their actions. I think the entire thrust of the various proposals tends to go towards encouraging people to move into the formal economy, be more honest in their payment of taxes, and with higher revenues, that's the Laffey curve that we are all aware about, will help the tax rates also continue to remain low.
Worrying signs, particularly for overseas investors, is that the state finances and the consolidated fiscal deficit of the centre and the states is very high. And one of the main reasons why states have performed worse is because of the Uday scheme. Now, have we solved a short-term problem by getting into a larger mess? And has the worsening of the state finances been because of Uday? Because SEBs are in no better position today.
I think you have not yet understood the Uday scheme. I would urge you to read, or I'll be happy to educate you a little more about the Uday scheme. Uday has only reflected the de facto position into the de jure position. The fact that all this liability was existing on the states and their state utilities is a matter of fact. Now, the states were required to pay for the interest and the huge interest burden through budgetary support. Instead of that, by recognizing that as a state liability, we have been actually able to bring down their state support to these electricity boards, while at the same time enjoying interest rates in some cases as much as 5% less than what was being paid by the utilities. And in any case, the loss-making discoms are only 4 or 5, of which Tamil Nadu has only joined recently. So Rajasthan, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh were the 3 state discoms which took on the debt of the state utilities on their books. But on the other hand, they got the advantage, along with the advantages of lower interest rate, they got the advantage of reducing their state subsidies to run the discoms. So all in all, net, every state has benefited. And I'm happy to share with you, Haryana has been the first discom, the South Haryana discom, to turn into a profit from a loss. Rajasthan, which had the country's highest loss, 15,000 crore rupee annual loss, within 2 years of Uday, is almost in a situation of 1,000-1,500 loss left, and by next year should be into profits. I don't think there has been any other game-changing improvement in any sector which has given such fast results with zero cost to the exchequer.
Mr. Goyal, I have a final question for you, and many in our panel did believe this could be game-changing, but I just want to understand from you, the FIPB will be abolished next fiscal. Many people believe that was a gatekeeper of sorts. What really happens with FIPB being abolished? Does everything come through the automatic route, or will we see something new come up on the contours of an FIPB, perhaps a simpler regime?
Well, Supriya, first of all, in my view, the biggest game-changing reform was more about the change in political funding. It's something this nation has debated for years, and I think the very fact that the Honorable Prime Minister and the Honorable Finance Minister have decided to make a path-breaking change to encourage people to donate to the political process more liberally will help cleanse the political funding process. I must compliment the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister for that big announcement on helping electoral politics become clean. The FIPB abolishing will be accompanied with further liberalizing so that more and more investments can come in the automatic route. Despite that, there may be some requirements where there will be need for approval by the government. But then instead of 2 bodies approving it, now all of that will be centralized at one level of approval.
All right, on that note, Mr. Piyush Goyal, can't thank you enough for taking time out this budget afternoon and speaking to us as markets trade live, and they continue to give you a big thumbs up to your Prime Minister, to the Finance Minister and to your government for giving out a budget that makes markets very happy.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.